Hundreds of classic arcade gamers flock to Richie Knuckles Arcade this weekend.
There's a new game in town with the opening of Richie Knuckles Arcade Games.
Richie Knuckles is the new legend in old school arcade circles.
One of the world's greatest classic arcades is now right here in Hunterdon County.
Richie Knuckles? Is that his real name?
Awesome. I want to thank everybody for coming out.
Thank you.
We're all going to be friends and propel this hobby into just the most amazing hobby that we can.
When you first walk into an arcade, there's this overwhelming cacophony of sounds that come at you, a glorious noise that pulls you in. It's never the same twice because somebody's playing it and hitting it in different rhythms. It's almost like a really good guitar riff. He's grinning and laughing at you. You hear one of those tones. You hear the opening music to any one of these games. It's like, oh, I know what that is.
When you come to Richie Knuckles Arcade, it's as if you went into a time portal. You can feel the love in his machines. When you come here, it's that experience. You don't get that anywhere else.
It's exactly like going into an arcade back in 1982 when the games are brand new and freshly out of the box. It gives you that feeling.
I was shocked how many of my favorite games that Richie actually had. Bagman, whoa! And Tutankhamun, whoa! It was like one after another of whoa. And to me, this is what video games are. It's what drove the industry. It's what drove the home business. And I was anxious to get to playing them right away, especially the games that I hadn't seen for almost 30 years.
Everybody has their game. When they walk in and they see their game in its glory, they're like, where did you find this? They walk up to it and they're just like, oh, look at this.
We started out, of course, you got to get the staples. You have to get Berserk, you have to get Galaga, you have to get Joust, games like that. And then slowly, after you get the titles that you need, then we started getting the more rare titles, the ones that when people come in, they're like, oh, how did you find this? Like Cosmic Avenger, really nice artwork, as you can see. This one has different kind of designs. The cabinetry and stuff is, and not only the gameplay is fun for me, but also getting the games that have really, really nice artwork and stuff. We got track and field. I don't know if you guys remember track and field. You got the guys that could do that. Come on, guys, follow me this way. That's some other good stuff. So here's our Tron machine. David Cruz got the world record on this Tron. Ooh, check this out. Phoenix, right here. Check this out. Free bird trick. Excellent timing. So here is Crazy Kong. Early on when I started doing these games again, for some reason when I started restoring Donkey Kong, part of me felt that the Donkey Kong should have been pink, and I had no idea why. After years go by, I located this in an old warehouse, and here we go, it's pink. So I figured out why I thought Donkey Kong should have been pink. Funny color scheme for Crazy Kong, right? So this is our other store. It's in the same strip mall. We call this place 2.0. The other place, of course, would be 1.0. This room just had like the home game room type feel, so we decided to keep it and use this more of a showroom. As you can see here, we have some of our choice pieces, a beautiful Burger Time, beautiful Tapper, Swimmer, which is another world record machine. Steve Wagner broke the world record on this one. And then Rolling Thunder, Brian Wagner broke the world record on this one. I'd say probably 50% of the machines in here are the ones that were used to set the world records in this place. Here's a mini Gorf. I don't know if you guys remember Gorf. It's a great game. And then if you come into this area, this has the whole basement feel, like the home arcade. So that's why we're keeping this room over here to make it more feel like what it would feel like in your basement. Right here we have Space Duel. I'm really big into the vector games. Back here we have Tempest. I don't know if you guys remember Tempest. Great vector games. For me, the collecting of the games is not only something that brings back memories, but the collecting of it is like, it gets into you. It really does. You start feeling like these games are a part of you, and when you sell them, they kind of hurt. So I try to keep hold on to many of the games. So this is a cockpit version of an old classic vector game called the Mega Race. I had a Mega Race on an upright, and I liked it, but it just didn't have the same feel. Once I got this game, I really started playing this game a lot. If you step over here, this is a game that all the kids like. Check this out. This is our Star Wars. This is a 25-inch vector monitor as well, the cockpit version. You guys remember this one, right? As a kid, we played this game a lot, my friends and I. Now my daughter, who is 4, this is her favorite game. She comes in here, the first thing she gravitates to is Star Wars. The kids love Star Wars. How's my baby?
Good. We had to write 4 things that are the specialist moments of our life. And I wrote getting off the bus with my dad because I love him.
My whole life, I never really pictured myself as being a dad, because being a singer in the band and being, somewhat driven to always put my career in front of everything else. And when I found out I was going to be a dad, it instantly changed me. And we came up with the name Faith. It was the first choice. We just looked at each other, Paige and I looked at each other and said, Faith, that's her name. I loved her. I mean, before I even saw the ultrasound pictures for the first time, before I even saw them, I loved her and I knew what she was going to look like. If I could have asked God for a pre-picked, predetermined daughter, Faith is exactly who I would ask for. There isn't a thing I would change about her.
Thank you, sweetheart.
And it's really cool, living with a dad that has an arcade because he's, so famous.
From a baby, I used to carry her in, put her down, and then work on the machine, and she would watch me work on the machine. And as she got older and she grew up, all the patrons got to know her from crawling on the floor and having to watch where they walked so they didn't step on her, to the point of her walking up, getting onto the Monaco GP, and putting a high score up.
It was amazing watching her grow up in the arcade, her first steps, her, in a playpen, having a playpen in the arcade, and her learning how to stand up and dragging her off of the game she wanted to play even from being a little baby.
She was basically raised in the arcade.
Ready, Faithy? Good. Turn that screwdriver. You take the marquee off for me.
There's this big monkey, and he would try to get the princess. There's this spark thingies that you can't run into. You're the yellow guy, and there's ghosts that you can't get hit by. There's this frog, and you have to try to get across the road, and there's cars. If you make a wrong move, then it goes brr. When you do the right move, it goes boink. And if you make it without dying, you could get a rainbow if you go real far.
It was a new novelty for the town. People were coming from all over New Jersey to check out the place. They embraced it, and we had a really good first 3-4 opening months.
Arcade concert!
It was almost like a dream come true, how much fun we were having.
You
said that sometimes you don't like the image of like the lonely gamer in his parents' basement.
In his tidy whities, eating Cheetos.
And you kind of want to like dispel that image.
Well, that isn't what I want. I don't want to dispel an image. That's just not what I want to portray.
The guys at Richie Knuckles like that one.
At any given day, there's 100 to 120 games on the floor. I would say every single weekend, at least 2 or 3 games develop a problem, whether it be from a kid jamming on the joystick, to the buttons getting stuck, to something even worse, to a monitor crapping out.
Here we go. Come on, screen. Come on, screen. It's not a lousy connection. I need a 1/4-inch net driver and a monitor.
These machines are 30 years old, and sometimes the parts just die. Basically what this is a Sanyo EZV monitor out of a Donkey Kong. Instead of fiddling around and wasting time, I just go right in and I replace all the caps, replace the flyback, and clean her up and get her looking like new. Sometimes even the horizontal width coil. This is one that's recently been recapped. The flyback just jumped. That's a brand new flyback. When the flyback has a tiny little crack in it, it arcs to the cage, and you'll hear a snap, snap. I only did it once, but that's not good. Underneath here, this is called an anode, and underneath here is a lot of voltage held up. And if I was to go underneath that cap, I could get electrocuted and get shocked. You're supposed to discharge it, and when you discharge it, you put a screwdriver underneath there and you put it to ground so that it goes pop. I would say it probably takes me close to 2.5, 3 hours from beginning to finish. Like right now, what I'm doing now, starting by taking the chassis out, then recapping everything, putting everything new in, and then troubleshooting if there's still a problem. It's a labor of love. This isn't something that you do if you want to get rich. This is definitely a labor of love. Sometimes I have to go in and clean up